Hey, everybody. Adam Williams here in New York City. We just finished up Consensus 2019. Phenomenal event. We had a great time. Absolutely blessed to have Rachel Wolfson with us. She decided to come along and join us for our event here. WCC and the Evolve team is hosting an exit interview event out here in New York. We'd like to understand what people thought of Consensus. What did you get out of the event? Maybe some things that were left a little untold where you'd like some more information. And so we're really doing this exit poll interview segment where we're asking people what they thought of the event and how we can continue those conversations for Vegas Blockchain Week in the fall. And Rachel, thank you so much for joining us today. I mean, you've been phenomenal. We did some interviews earlier on at the Hilton during Consensus as people were leaving. You did such a phenomenal job. And then you've decided to join us here to do some more interviews. So thank you for joining us, and tell us a little bit about what you thought about Consensus before we get to everybody else.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you, Adam, for that kind introduction. And I'm definitely happy to be here. So Consensus was crazy. And it was pretty overwhelming, but I got very good interviews with high-level people. So I spoke to a ton of companies, BitPay and MakerDAO and IBM and Oracle. So got a good mix of companies there. And I think it was a really great event overall. It was just very overwhelming.
Yeah, agreed. You know, I attended last year, and last year I think the number was like 8,800 attendees. This year I think they cut that in about half. And it was really nice because as we hit these crazy spikes and then these dips, and you kind of start shaking out the silliness of the industry, and the cream kind of rises to the top. And I felt that the conversations we were having with companies, like you said, enterprises exploding into the space, and it's just really, those conversations are getting so much more mature, and it's valuable, right? It's what I know you focused a lot on enterprise this past year. Could you tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in the space?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been writing about the space since 2017, and we've really gone from this whole like ICO cryptocurrency focus to enterprise blockchain focus. So that makes me really happy as a journalist to focus on companies like IBM and Oracle and Golden State Foods. And I helped Forbes make the top 50 enterprise blockchain list. So they asked 2 contributors to be a part of that project, and I was one of them. So, I mean, it was a real honor, and just I cover IBM a lot, for example, and what they're doing with like Hyperledger Fabric, and to speak with Brian of Hyperledger. I think it's incredible. I think that we're really seeing a shift from like cryptocurrency ICO focus to how this can be applied in the real world. What IBM is doing with their food trust network and all that. So I think it's a good shift, and we're seeing more legitimate use cases now.
Agreed. We have seen it mature. I think it's going to continue. We've focused a lot last year at World Crypto Conference. We saw a lot of startups, right? We had a ton of sponsors that were startups in the ICO phase and so on and so forth. And this year, we're really focused heavily on the enterprise, the IBMs of the world, as you mentioned, the Microsofts and so on and so forth, and the financial institutions that are also beginning to come into this space. And they've been in this space, but now they're starting to be a more forward-facing, TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, and so on. And I think that's what's really going to help that mass adoption. When your average consumer can push a button and add Bitcoin to their portfolio as an investment tool, that really helps us all, and it just helps the ecosystem. So what I'd like to understand a little bit about you before we go is you have skyrocketed in this space. I mean, we were with you today, and people are coming up to you and they're recognizing you. And so first and foremost, congratulations on all your success. I mean, I'm super excited for you. But tell me a little bit from your perspective, what I know where you started, but what are your aspirations? What are your goals? What do you see yourself a year from now, 2 years, 3 years from now? Sometimes it's hard to, launch out and think of the far, but what do you see? Because I know you're just on a mission, and your career's going through the moon. So
yeah, well, thank you. So I've always been a writer, and I've been writing about this space since 2017, but I've been writing about tech for about 10 years now. So, I mean, right now I'm really focused on contributing for Forbes, which is kind of like my main thing now. And I have a podcast called The Crypto Chick. But I think moving forward, it would be great to I'm a contributor now with Forbes, maybe staff. I'm deeply invested in this space in terms of, the journalistic aspect of everything. And I think that I just want to keep writing about the space, developing my stories. I see where the space is going, and I think it's only going up. But I'm focused on the blockchain aspect of things. So I don't really look at the market. I don't look at the price of Bitcoin, although right now it's high, which is great. It's higher. But yeah, I mean, I guess in the future, I just want to keep writing and really build my name that way. Maybe have a YouTube channel, do interviews, because I know a lot of the most interesting people in the space. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think it's great that I'm becoming more well-known. It makes me feel good.
That's just excellent. And again, congrats on all the success so far. I mean, we know you're just a force to be reckoned with, and you're going to continue to grow your brand, your personal brand. And we just love to see you in the space. And thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
All right.